Good morning, everyone. Depending on where you are watching from, morning, afternoon, evening. This is the counselor. I want to teach about the law of conscience. Today we shall be looking at the law of conscience. I take us back to Genesis chapter 39. You can read from verse 1, but specifically from verse 7 to verse 9 downward. You see that in the days of Joseph, there was no law. Joseph existed before Moses was born. Moses is the author of the law or the commandment of God. So in the days of Joseph, there was no law. Based on that, Joseph could have had any reason to sleep with his master's wife. But he said, no. There is against my conscience, is against the reality of the personality of the God of Jew, Yahweh. And he's going to be a great betrayer to my master, Potiphar. Until Africans begin to apply the law of conscience, Africans will remain backward in development. Even God that originated the law, which is the commandment, realized that the commandment could not save mankind. Mankind could not abide by the commandment. So God himself sent his only begotten son, Yeshua Messiah, known as Jesus, to die for the sins of mankind, for the redemption of mankind. Therefore, there is no politician in Africa, specifically in Nigeria, that will not have any reason to steal if you look at the law of the land, which is the constitution. But we must look beyond the constitution. We must begin to apply conscience in all we do. We must be considerate to our neighbors. We must be considerate to all ethnicity in Nigeria. We must learn to accommodate every class of people in our neighborhood. For example, former President Goodluck Jonathan Ebele was wrong for contesting the 2015 presidential election. By the law of conscience, you inherited the first term or the tenure of your master Yaradua, and you spent over 2 years in that first term. You had the privilege again to run for 2011 and won. You have lead or rule for 6 years. On which ground are you on the ballot in 2015? Even when they said the constitution was silence. But if I was in your shoe, I wouldn't have contested. And if I were you and I had it in mind that I was going to contest after doing vice president for 8 years, and to contest even as Atiku contested to become elected president because the constitution is silent, and in that area, the National Assembly and the president need to look into it. Anyone that run as a deputy governor or as a vice president do not need to run again as a president after 8 years. They are not the only one in the country. His idea, his ideology, his vision, everything he had to offer to become when he becomes governor or as president, that was why he was given the opportunity to become a vice president or a deputy governor. He is supposed to bring in what he has and put it on the table with his governor or his president, and it's a combined ticket. So the constitution needs to be amended on that. No one is supposed to run after 8 years as a deputy governor, as a vice president, to also come out to contest as a governor or as a vice president. So on that ground, Goodluck Jonathan was, if he had known that he wanted to contest as a president after the 8-year tenure of Yaradua, when he became the acting president, he's supposed to have amended the law for the law of conscience, because it was the turn of the North to feature the president. Now that the sitting president became incapacitated, therefore, he is supposed to amend the law that the constitution should allow the region whose turn was to feature to replace any incapacitated or dead president. Therefore, he would have retained his seat as a vice president, and the people from the northern region will replace the former president, late Yaradua. Then he will run as a vice president for his 8 years. I believe with that great sacrifice, the president will not hinder him from contesting or betrayed him or refused to support him to become the elected president. That is what he could have done. If I were in his shoe, that is what I would have done. Now that he failed to do that, he took the advantage of the constitution to inherit the government as an active president, and he became a full president after the death of late Yaradua, and he was elected in 2011 to run, and he won, and he ran for another 4 years, which is 6 years. So if he was in the shoe of Joseph, if he was in my shoe, if he is a man like me, a man of integrity, a man of wisdom, a man of conscience, he's not supposed to run in 2015. It is the origin of everything we are facing now. The problem of Nigeria began from 2015. He was not qualified. Even if the constitution was silent, he's supposed to apply the law of conscience. The same thing applies to Atiku Abubakar and Kwakwaso. Knowing fully well that Buhari has run for 8 years, and in 2023, it was supposed to be what the power was supposed to be shifted to the south. Why was Atiku in the ballot? Why was Kwakwaso in the ballot? Though we know it's a voluntary freedom of rights, despite the constitution is silent. If I was in Atiku's shoe or Kwakwaso's shoe, I won't contest. And the same thing I'm sending to the northern politicians. 2027, don't waste your money. Don't fool yourself. Allow the South to complete their 8 years. By 2031, no southern politicians should also waste their money and waste their resources to run, because it will also be shifted to the north. This is the law of the conscience, and this is the volume 1, and I'm going to do a volume 2 on the responsibility of all Nigerians. Be you a community leader, be you a traditional ruler, be you a religion leader, be you a celebrity. There are roles we ought to play so that the politicians that is coming to contest or campaign in our community, in our neighborhood, in our constituents, we see what we have done for ourselves. That day we know that the people they have come to canvass vote from are not ignorant of what it takes to develop the land. The development of the society begins with the immediate family, from the father, the mother, and the children, down to the community leaders. So that will come in as a volume 2. Thank you. God bless you. Remain blessed. Endeavor to like, endeavor to comment what you also think is right in the law of conscience, what we ought to do, and the right things we ought to be doing, and the wrong thing we ought not to be doing. Please comment, like, and share. Thank you. God bless you. Remain blessed, and a blessing to your neighborhood.